Have you ever wondered what happens to wildlife in cities? Urbanization is growing faster than ever before. Skyscrapers and highways replace forests and meadows daily. Animals that once roamed freely now face shrinking habitats. Imagine a fox navigating a busy city street at night. Birds struggle to find safe nesting areas amidst buildings. The natural rhythm of wildlife is disrupted completely. Noise pollution confuses animals, altering their communication patterns. Streetlights change nocturnal animals' sleep and hunting behaviors. Roads and cars pose deadly threats to roaming creatures. Wildlife is forced to adapt or face extinction risks. Some species thrive, while many others quietly vanish. Squirrels adapt to human food, but predators cannot survive. Urban parks act as tiny refuges for displaced animals. But these green spaces are often isolated and small. Connectivity between habitats is broken by concrete and asphalt. Migration routes once used for centuries disappear overnight. Rivers and wetlands are drained to build urban infrastructure. Fish populations decline as water pollution increases dramatically. Insects, crucial to ecosystems, struggle to survive in cities. Pollination declines, affecting both plants and food production. Urban heat islands make survival harder for many species. Climate change and urban growth combine to worsen impacts. Some birds learn to exploit human food sources quickly. Others die out because they cannot adapt to city life. Wildlife corridors are essential but often neglected by planners. Noise, light, and chemical pollution constantly challenge survival. Predators may vanish, but prey species explode unnaturally. Ecosystem balance is lost in highly urbanized areas. Every city expansion costs more than just human resources. It consumes the homes of countless innocent creatures. Urban sprawl leaves wildlife trapped in fragmented patches. Animals may face starvation or dangerous encounters with humans. Adaptation comes with risks, not guaranteed survival. Pigeons and rats thrive, but rare species dwindle. Even common species face increased disease and stress. Wild animals often come into conflict with humans. Domestic pets also threaten native wildlife populations significantly. Birds collide with windows because reflections confuse them. Nighttime lighting disrupts migration and hunting for many species. Roads divide territories, limiting breeding and gene flow. Waste and litter can harm or poison wildlife. Urban development pressures animals to move into dangerous zones. Many species shift their activity patterns to avoid humans. Nocturnal animals sometimes become active during daytime for survival. Predators disappear first, causing prey population surges. This imbalance further damages urban ecosystems over time. Some cities encourage wildlife-friendly practices, but rarely enough. Rooftop gardens and parks provide temporary relief for wildlife. However, they cannot replace large, interconnected natural habitats. Humans often underestimate the impact of everyday activities. Every new building or road alters local biodiversity profoundly. Wildlife populations act as indicators of ecosystem health. Declines warn us that urbanization is unsustainable long-term. Protecting wildlife requires planning, awareness, and proactive strategies. Simple acts, like bird-friendly windows, can make a difference. Reducing light and noise pollution helps nocturnal species immensely. Community gardens and green roofs offer refuge to smaller animals. Urbanization does not always mean total destruction of wildlife. With careful planning, coexistence between humans and wildlife is possible. Awareness is the first step to meaningful urban conservation. Imagine cities designed with both humans and wildlife in mind. Every action to protect nature matters for future generations. The stories of urban wildlife are warnings and inspirations. Are we ready to rethink our cities for all species? You think animals are thriving in cities? Watch what's actually happening. Deer now navigate streets instead of forests. Coyotes raid your garbage bins, changing their entire hunting behavior. Owls can't hunt anymore with all the noise and light pollution. Turtles crossing roads rarely make it to the other side. But here's the thing. Wildlife corridors and green roofs are giving them a fighting chance. Support urban conservation efforts in your city. Continuous urbanization gradually eliminates entire wildlife habitats permanently. Forests shrink, leaving only fragmented patches for animal survival. Species diversity declines, weakening ecosystem stability over time. Predators disappear first, causing prey populations to explode uncontrollably. Overpopulation of some animals leads to vegetation destruction rapidly. Pollinator declines disrupt plant reproduction across urban and nearby areas. Fish populations drop as rivers and lakes face pollution. Amphibians vanish, reducing natural insect control and biodiversity balance. Soil quality deteriorates due to paving and chemical use. Urban heat islands intensify, stressing temperature-sensitive species. Climate change compounds urban effects, worsening wildlife survival chances. Migratory birds struggle to find safe stopover sites. Urban sprawl isolates populations, reducing genetic diversity significantly. Small isolated populations face increased risk of extinction quickly. Ecosystem services like pollination, water purification are compromised. Disease spreads faster in overcrowded animal populations in cities. Human-wildlife conflicts increase as animals compete for space. Predatory animals decline, creating imbalanced food webs. Invasive species often thrive, displacing native urban wildlife. Some plants and animals exploit urban niches successfully, but rare species suffer irreversible population losses over decades. Wetland destruction affects amphibians, birds, and water-dependent species. Concrete channels disrupt natural water flow and breeding cycles. Road mortality kills thousands of animals every year. Wildlife corridors are often insufficient to sustain long-term populations. Noise pollution alters predator-prey dynamics in subtle ways. Artificial lighting confuses nocturnal and migratory species permanently. Pollutants accumulate in food chains, affecting higher trophic levels. Pesticides reduce insect populations, harming birds and mammals alike. Urban rivers become lifeless, losing ecological function completely. Fragmented habitats prevent species from adapting to environmental changes. Plants fail to reproduce without natural pollinator populations. Urban sprawl accelerates the extinction of sensitive species rapidly. Over time, biodiversity hotspots vanish from metropolitan regions. City wildlife may exhibit abnormal behaviors due to stress. Animals relying on humans develop dependency, reducing survival skills. Predator absence allows some prey species to overconsume resources. Ecosystem resilience diminishes, making recovery difficult after disturbances. Green spaces alone cannot compensate for lost habitats. Rooftop gardens and parks offer temporary but limited relief. Fragmented forests cannot support large mammals or apex predators. Urbanization alters migration patterns permanently in many species. Birds adjust timing, routes, or destinations to urban pressures. Amphibians and reptiles often fail to adapt to new challenges. Wetlands and ponds dry or become toxic over time. Fish migration is blocked by dams and concrete channels. Small mammals dominate, but predator control is missing entirely. Overpopulation of rodents leads to human-wildlife disease risks. Invasive species thrive, while native species decline steadily. Urban ecosystems gradually lose their natural complexity and richness. Food chains collapse in highly urbanized and fragmented areas. Human intervention sometimes prevents complete species loss temporarily. Reintroduction programs can succeed, but are expensive and rare. Long-term urban planning rarely prioritizes ecological sustainability effectively. Loss of biodiversity reduces ecosystem services essential to humans. Cities risk becoming ecological deserts if unchecked growth continues. Urban wildlife adapts, but the ecosystem itself weakens substantially. Resilient species may dominate, but ecological balance is lost. Every lost species reduces natural ecosystem functionality permanently. Human health may indirectly suffer from decreased biodiversity. Air and water purification by plants and animals decline. Food security can be affected by pollinator and fish losses. Understanding urban impact helps in planning wildlife-friendly cities. Sustainable practices can mitigate long-term biodiversity decline effectively. Our future depends on balancing urban growth with wildlife protection. Your city can actually be designed for wildlife. And it's easier than you think. Green corridors connect broken habitats so animals can move safely through urban spaces. Rooftop gardens become tiny ecosystems feeding birds, bees, and even small mammals. Native plants attract pollinators naturally, while wildlife crossings prevent roadkill. Even small changes make a difference. Vertical gardens, nest boxes, urban ponds all create homes in unexpected places. Start making your city wildlife-friendly today. Cities are actually saving wildlife, and Singapore literally turned itself into a garden. Green corridors connect the whole city, so wildlife can actually move around safely. Berlin connects fragmented habitats with wildlife crossings, and Chicago turned rooftops into prairies. Native plants attract the pollinators cities desperately need. New York's High Line restored native vegetation, creating little refuges for urban birds and insects. Melbourne even maps wildlife corridors to protect genetic diversity. Start small. Install a bird feeder, plant native flowers, or support local green spaces to help wildlife thrive in your city. The future of urban wildlife depends on human choices today. Cities can either harm or protect biodiversity effectively. Planning with wildlife in mind prevents habitat destruction and species loss. Every tree, garden, and corridor contributes to ecosystem health. Citizens play a crucial role in urban conservation success. Simple actions, like reducing light pollution, help nocturnal species. Installing bird-friendly windows prevents deadly collisions consistently. Avoiding pesticide use protects pollinators and other beneficial insects. Community gardens provide essential resources for urban wildlife populations. Urban parks must balance human recreation with animal habitat needs. Green rooftops and walls support nesting and foraging for birds. Wildlife corridors connect fragmented habitats, allowing safe animal movement. Awareness campaigns encourage respect and coexistence with urban animals. Urban planners must prioritize ecological assessments before development. Sustainable architecture integrates natural habitats into everyday city life. Citizen science projects track wildlife trends accurately over time. Volunteers can help monitor species, plants, and habitat health. Schools can educate students on urban ecology and wildlife care. Reducing waste and litter prevents harm to small mammals and birds. Local governments can enforce regulations protecting endangered urban species. Wetlands and ponds must be preserved for aquatic wildlife survival. Native plantings strengthen food sources and shelter for local animals. Seasonal flowering gardens support migrating birds and pollinators. Wildlife crossings over highways prevent roadkill and maintain connectivity. Restoring rivers and streams revitalizes aquatic ecosystems in cities. Vertical gardens and terraces provide additional habitat space. Urban forests reduce heat islands and shelter countless animal species. Protecting habitats ensures humans benefit from cleaner air and water. Biodiversity improves mental health and quality of life in cities. Urban wildlife teaches humans about adaptation and resilience. Conservation efforts today shape the ecological balance of tomorrow. Species reintroduction programs restore lost predators and maintain food chains. Controlling invasive species protects native wildlife from extinction risks. Collaboration between governments, NGOs, and citizens is essential. Long-term planning ensures sustainable coexistence between humans and wildlife. Wildlife-friendly cities inspire other urban areas to adopt similar strategies. Protecting even small habitats can prevent local extinctions. Urban biodiversity attracts ecotourism and educational opportunities effectively. Observing urban animals fosters empathy and environmental responsibility. Habitat restoration projects should be prioritized over unchecked urban expansion. Policies must integrate ecological sustainability into city planning consistently. Green infrastructure provides both human comfort and wildlife benefits simultaneously. Conservation is an ongoing process requiring monitoring and adaptation. Every citizen action contributes to a larger ecological impact. Planting trees, shrubs, and flowers supports multiple wildlife species. Reporting injured or displaced animals helps maintain urban ecosystem health. Reducing vehicle speeds near wildlife zones prevents unnecessary fatalities. Collaboration between urban planners and ecologists improves city biodiversity outcomes. Innovative architecture can create natural habitats without limiting human space. Rooftop apiaries support pollinators and strengthen urban food chains. Urban rivers and canals should mimic natural ecosystems whenever possible. Public parks should include spaces dedicated solely to wildlife refuge. Citizen participation ensures conservation programs succeed long-term. Every green initiative strengthens urban resilience to climate change. Education empowers communities to coexist with wildlife responsibly. Urbanization can be a solution, not a threat, if managed. Future cities should blend technology with ecological awareness seamlessly. Protecting wildlife ensures humans enjoy cleaner, healthier, and balanced environments. Observing urban wildlife inspires innovation and sustainable living practices. Planning for biodiversity benefits both humans and the planet simultaneously. Urban growth must consider the rights of non-human residents too. Small, consistent efforts collectively create significant ecological transformations. Nature and humans can thrive together within urban landscapes. Our cities can become models of coexistence and ecological stewardship. The choice is ours: protect wildlife and secure our shared future.